My first anime was Inuyasha in the mid 2000s, and to this day that series provides me with more satisfaction than most despite its clear lack of quality at times. It goes on for far too long, some arcs are way less eventful than others, and I'm not ashamed to admit that while I consider it a classic and pivotal to my development as an anime fan, it definitely isn't for everybody. One thing that I hold near and dear to my heart till this day from that series are its characters. Even detractors of the overall experience of the show usually indicate that the characters within it are at least interesting. And if you haven't seen any of Inuyasha in your life, I highly recommend giving it at least a try. The characters range from wacky to overdramatic to just plain badass. And you even get some interesting side characters like Jinenji, some one-off characters that I think are often overlooked. And his episode, particularly in season two, has made me want to cry every time that I've seen it. And I've seen this series a few times in my life. But this video is not really about Jinenji. It's not about the tears. It is about the waifu. My waifu. And wham! Just when you may have thought that this video was going to be something where I make a heartfelt connection to the series in general or something like that, it isn't. I'm here to preach the good gospel of waifuism, to shed some light on you to embrace the divine nature that is the greatest female character in anime history, in my opinion. Sango, the Demon Slayer. Introduced in episode 24, Sango is from a tribe of demon hunters who, you guessed it, kill demons. They traverse the world of feudal Japan, hunting the evils that plague humanity, and try to keep some sense of peace. She's introduced as the beautiful young daughter of the head of the demon slaying tribe. She has a brother named Kohaku who she's very close with, and he looks up to her. And she's very, very skilled at slaying demons. She wields both a sword and a giant boomerang that is made out of demon bone. And I cannot emphasize enough how cool that is. A giant boomerang made out of demon bone called the Hiraikots. Apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly. Her introduction is centered around what's seemingly a pretty routine demon hunting job. However, it was all a ruse by this spider demon possessing the lord who had hired them, leading the slayers into a trap in which Kohaku, her brother, is mind-controlled into killing his father and the other demon slayers, as well as badly injuring her sister, putting her on the brink of death. She was even presumed dead and then buried, but survived the encounter and sought vengeance. This is all revealed to be a plot pushed by Naraku, who's my favorite anime villain of all time, and he's the overarching villain of the entire Inuyasha franchise. He's, like I said, my favorite villain. So not only does the series include my favorite female character of all time, but my favorite antagonist. And, I know those two things are pretty conflicting, but I guess I'm weird, whatever. Without spoiling more of the story, Sango is tricked into seeking revenge on Inuyasha, and that gets resolved, and she joins the party in order to track down and defeat Naraku, who has wronged pretty much everybody in the main cast. She serves as an exemplary ally in combat and as a means of transport, considering she has a flying cat demon who can shrink down and grow really big, named Kilala. And Kilala is adorable and cute. And there's Kilala flying right there. And yeah, Kilala is really cool. She's a means of transport and aids in the fighting, stuff like that. So both Sango and Kilala are pretty pivotal to the team. Yeah, so at first she's like this sort of almost enemy of Inuyasha very briefly, but it was all through the deception and the web weaving of Naraku. and really feeds into the rest of the story because a lot of them, like I said, have motives to go after Naraku and stop, his evil nature. And that's like the basics of what she is in the story. Honestly, I think that you should watch it for yourself or read it for yourself, however you want to enjoy it. But why do I like her so much? Well, I'll link it back to when exactly I discovered her. I was about 12, 13 years old or so, I believe. And I was never the most social butterfly. I had very few friends and very few experiences with other people besides my family in general, as I went to a small school when I was young and I didn't really like or make friends with any of my classmates for a long time. I was bullied for quite a bit, and I have never really been much of a fighter, so I just kind of isolated myself and never took much of a defiance and never quite stood up for myself at all. Sango was a woman who never took like the easy way out. Like she would always try and be strong. She always has a clear goal. She dealt with insane levels of adversity and hardship. I realize that there are many characters like this. Almost every anime protagonist and many anime characters struggle for sure. But she was the first that I really connected with. Her experience was always a reminder of how you can pull through serious struggle. I have always been someone who tried to look at things in the perspective that they could be worse. I try to deflect negative emotion with the realization that I am grateful for what I have versus what I don't have. The good in my life over the bad, the things that make me happy instead of the things that make me sad or even angry. Not saying this is the best way to look at stuff. I'm sure people have different coping methods for certain aspects of their life and stuff like that, but this tends to be what works for me. Sango was escape in character. Anime is an amazing escape into fantasy stories and a place to connect your real life experiences toward pieces of art. No matter how shitty the real world was for me, I would always be able to turn on Adult Swim every night on my old TV in my room growing up and watch Sango push forward being badass despite horrible stuff happening all around her. She also gets into the chaos similar like to Batman, where she has no powers, just battle knowledge and demon slaying tools and weaponry. And I always thought that was kind of cool. The world of Inuyasha is one where humans seem like lambs to the slaughter a lot of the time. There's demonic hordes all over feudal Japan, seemingly. Sango is a direct rejection to all of this, a symbol that humans can fight back, and I like that a lot about her. I also appreciate her connection to her brother, Kohaku. I have a sibling that I love very much, very, very near and dear to me, and I couldn't imagine losing that connection or having that connection corrupted like it was between her and her brother in this series, where the brother was literally manipulated to slay the entire family and is forced to do a lot of other stuff against his will. And it's a really tragic story, and it's something that made me really pay attention to this series as long as it was. She also has a funny and heartwarming development as a character with her growing romantic relationship with the monk Moroku, who I'm not gonna lie was pretty jealous of when I was young. But everybody kind of saw this coming. If you watch the series, the show hints at it a whole lot. Moroku's constantly literally grabbing her ass because he's a lecherous monk. He also has tragic ties to Naraku. I like him a lot as a character too. But I was very jealous of him for a long time. Very cool character, and I'm glad that they were able to end up together. Now that the emotional reasons are out of the way, allow me to be a bit more casual. I also just kind of tend to think that, she's like an interesting character. I think she's, pretty hot. When I was an early teen, I saw this badass woman who had a sweet side to her, and my heart melted. She can be ladylike, kimono-wearing beauty that you just want to go on a journey with, travel beautiful feudal Japan with, and all that. And then she can snap right into battle mode. I love strong female characters, and she is the queen of this, in my opinion. I personally am more drawn to women who can take care of themselves and who take charge in situations and can both comfort you and not be scared to admit at the same time when they need to be comforted. Sango is all of the above. She is someone I look up to, someone people can aspire to be. She works hard, she is loving, kind, badass, and of course, the greatest waifu of all time. And that is why I love Sango so much. I realize, for some people, they're not into waifu kind of culture or whatever like that. A small part of my brain sort of cringes like when I say that line aloud. Realistically, it's just a character that I really, really adore, and I think I always will have a passion for. Obviously, I'm like twice her age now that she is like in the show or whatever. But when I was young, she was a character to kind of like look up to. I love her character design. I think she's beautiful. I like everything about her. Um, and yeah, I hope that this sort of like maybe cleared things up as to why I like this character so much. I know I've talked about her a lot in the past. And maybe it inspires any of you to discuss who your favorite character was from a series. Could be guy, girl, whatever. Let me know down below who your favorite character is. Could be from Inuyasha, could be from any anime, and maybe really think about what makes them important to you. Do you relate to them? Are they just so different from you that you find that interesting as well? Yeah, I'm curious about that. I think that's an interesting thing. Thank you so much to all of my patrons. I'll have a link down below to my Patreon if you want to join that as well. If you like what I'm doing here, please hit that subscribe button and maybe that notification button so you know when I make new videos. Yeah, but basically that's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means a lot to me. My name is Miasma, and I'll see you next time.